Hello, and welcome to today's webinar, the State of 911 webinar series, hosted by the National 911 Program. My name is Stephanie, and I will be the moderator for today's session. The webinar series is designed to provide useful information for the 911 stakeholder community about federal and state participation in the planning, design, and implementation of next-generation 911 systems. It includes real experiences from leaders overseeing these transitions throughout the country. Due to unforeseen circumstances, we had a last-minute cancellation of one of the speakers, and today's session will feature two presenters from the Federal Railroad Administration, Mr. Mike Grizkewitsch, Highway, Rail, and Trespassing Safety Federal Railroad Administration, and Ms. Raquel Hunt, Federal Railroad Administration. Today's session will feature an update on how 911 centers can contact a railroad in an emergency and information on the GIS program for the railroad, and will also feature a Q&A period after the speaker's presentation. For more information on future National 911 program webinars or to access archived recordings and learn more about the National 911 program, please visit 911.gov. Feedback or questions about the webinars can be sent to national911team@mcp911.com. If you are experiencing difficulty with the WebEx application, please call WebEx Technical Assistance at 1-866-229-3239 and select option 1. Please note that all participant phone lines have been put in a listen-only mode, and this webinar is being recorded. To ask questions of our presenters, please feel free to take one of two actions. Using the WebEx's chat feature located on the right-hand side of your screen, enter your question at any time during the presentation, and it will be entered into the queue. This feature is not visible while your screen is in the expanded page view. Or to ask your question live, use the raise hand feature to request your phone line to be unmuted, and you will be called upon to answer your questions. With that, I would like to introduce Ms. Lori Flaherty, Coordinator for the National 911 Program. Lori, please go ahead.
Thanks, Stephanie. It is my pleasure today to provide two great speakers for our webinar series. We're really lucky to have them with us today. The first speaker is Mike Grizkewitsch, who is with the Federal Railroad Administration. He specializes in issues related to rail and trespassing safety and has been working with our 911 community for some time on a specific program designed for our stakeholder group. So, Mike, the floor is yours.
Thank you. As she mentioned, my name is Michail Grizkewitsch. I'm with the Federal Railroad Administration. I come under the Highway, Rail, and Grade Crossing Trespass Division. I've been there now for about 15 years. Prior to that, I was a law enforcement officer for several years. And since I've been at the Federal Railroad Administration, I kind of realized that I felt we, the federal government, or the Federal Railroad Administration ourselves, was kind of leaving out one key component. You folks at the 911 call centers, the PSAPs around the country, are kind of the true first responders. You get that initial call of the event, no matter what it may be, how serious it may be, it all starts at your center. And for several years, I've been working with the National Emergency Number Association and other associations to see if we can try to resolve our issue and provide focused training to you folks at the 911 centers. So I thank you for your time and for your service. Next. Today, what I'm going to go over is an overview of the Federal Railroad Administration. When I mention I'm from the Federal Railroad Administration, most folks say, what is that? So today I'm going to go over it. Also, I'm going to go over when to call the railroads. I kind of left that open there because usually you should call it every time. However, I get specific questions around the country of when should we call the railroads? So we're going to go over that, along with most recently the Federal Railroad Administration through Congress and signed into law by the President, we enacted the Emergency Notification System. This system here is something that is placed at every highway rail grade crossing across the United States to help the local communities or the person in distress call the correct railroad or the correct 911 center. And lastly, I'll touch on the National Law Enforcement Terminal System, what we've partnered with them. Next. The FRA, the Federal Railroad Administration, was established by Congress in 1966. Our goal is to ensure that the railroad operates in compliance with the Code of Federal Regulations, Title 49 of the CFR. Multiple sections in that. Since 1966, we've been regulating the railroads. We ensure the safe, reliable movement of all types of rail goods to include passengers. Next. Next slide, please. How do we do this? Well, we have a team of over 400 inspectors across the country. These folks have the authority. Unlike municipal or state law enforcement officers, they do not need search warrants to enter the railroad's property for fact-finding or investigative options. In other words, they can enter a railroad's property, their buildings, their establishments, review all their records upon our arrival, our request. Through that, those inspectors discover violations of the Federal Register or the Federal Code of Federal Regulations, and they take appropriate action. Additionally to that, each state, or excuse me, 32 states currently have state inspectors. Those state inspectors can enforce federal law on our behalf. So we work hand in hand with our state partners. If for some reason our local inspector can't get to a scene, but a state inspector is, they can act on our behalf just as if it was the federal government. Next. We have 8 regional offices across the United States. I would encourage you, your PSAPs, to come familiar with who your regional office is. You can kind of see the color-coded map there. We can provide you with their local phone numbers if you do not have it to the regional office. Next. So some people ask me, all right, the slide didn't pop up. There we go. Thank you. So some people ask me, how many fatalities are there in the country? Believe it or not, every 3 hours in the United States, there is a fatality involving a railroad, train, or pedestrian at a grade crossing or along the right-of-ways. We do not investigate every incident. It's almost impossible for us to do that. However, the local railroads do, and then we conduct a records review later on. The railroads are required to report to our agency every fatality within a timely fashion, usually within 15 to 20 minutes. As you can see across the country, railroad trespassing is our leading cause. 62% of all fatalities occur while someone is trespassing on railroad property, whether they're walking down the right-of-way, whether they're at a grade crossing and they went around the railroad gates. So there's just a whole bunch of different things that we deal with. But basically every 3 hours in the United States, someone is struck by a train, whether in an automobile or walking. Next. The problem, and this is more for PSAPs. What number do you contact when you're involving a railroad incident? How do you tell them the location? Is the railroad going to be able to identify the location using their system or their maps? And then, of course, lastly, what needs to be done on your behalf as a 911 dispatcher? Do you notify the railroad? Do you notify local resources? What do you do? And some of these questions I cannot answer, and I would refer you to policy. However, when you are contacting the railroad, I would ask you to stop all trains in the area until the situation can be addressed. By stopping all railroad traffic in your particular area will not only ensure the safety for the victim, but the safety for your first responders and others that come to the scene. As far as numbers to call the railroad, I would encourage everybody on the phone today to review your local. Each state has a railroad map. Most of you know your own jurisdictions, and what you'll have to do is figure out the railroad that's in your area and then the 1-800 number that corresponds. When in doubt, I'll talk about it shortly, but at every highway rail grade crossing in your area will be a sign posted with that number additionally. Later on in this presentation, Ms. Hunt will talk to you about our GIS system that will also be able to help you locate or contact the correct railroad with a little bit more ease. As far as what needs to be done first, again, you'll have to refer to your policy. However, for us, it's always recommended to try to do them simultaneously. Stopping all train traffic is a very important thing. It takes a mile or more to stop some of these trains, and it has nothing to do with the braking system on the train. It just has to do with its sheer size and weight. So when stopping some of these trains, by notifying them as soon as possible, we can get them stopped quicker. Next. When do you call the railroad? Again, for me, it is immediately. When you discover there is an incident involving the railroad, to contact the railroad as soon as possible. Do it simultaneously. You can do it prior to dispatching other first responders. To me, it would be strongly recommended to do it either simultaneously or before. As I mentioned earlier, stopping the train is probably one of the most important things, because that train, or as it traverses through your city, we're trying to get it stopped as quick as possible to eliminate any other dangerous situations for the public, for the train crews, and for your first responders. Next. As I mentioned earlier, the Federal Railroad Administration, through Congress, signed into law by the President, enacted the Emergency Notification System. This system is required a blue sign, a blue and white sign. This is known as an informational sign under Federal Highway Guidelines. It's blue with a white lettering. This informational sign will be posted at every highway rail grade crossing. This sign has key information, such as a 1-800 number to the railroad. This is a direct communication to the railroad. A live person must pick up this phone number. Additionally, it has a crossing number. And lastly, it has the road. The reason why these things are so important for you folks is when somebody calls you from a grade crossing, we will be asking for you to direct them to see if they can locate this blue sign. The USDOT number is the most important thing, along with the phone number on here. Can you go to the next slide, please? The USDOT number, what is that? Well, the USDOT number is a number signed specifically to each intersection between roads and railroads, to include at-grade, public, private, pedestrians, overpasses, underpasses. Every highway rail grade crossing across the United States will have a unique number. It's kind of like a vehicle identification number to a motor vehicle. There's only one number assigned to every grade crossing. By using the USDOT number, eliminates any confusion, such as you may have a main street in your city where the rail line traverses Main Street multiple times. When an individual calls for assistance and says, I'm having an issue on Main Street, you may not know which intersection you're referring to on Main Street. And in some cases, multiple railroads cross that Main Street in different places. We have had reported incidents across the United States where the local emergency communication specialist contacted the railroad, and it was actually the wrong railroads, and trains were not stopped in time. And in multiple times we've had fire hoses that have been struck, we've had fire trucks that have been struck, and other things. So we have enacted this emergency notification system for you folks to ask, what is the USDOT number? Later on in the presentation, Raquel will get into how you can get some of those numbers from us ahead of time. Some agencies have contacted us, and we'll provide them with the USDOT numbers for their area that they can incorporate into their mapping systems. However, when somebody does call in and they're at a highway rail grade crossing, we would ask you to direct their attention to that blue sign, and on that is a USDOT number. Next. One more, if you could hit that. FRA is partnered with ENLITs. getting back to the USDOT number. Each state now has it available, if they shall choose, to allow the regional communication centers, such as yourself, to go through ENLETs. It's very simple. It's very similar to entering a registration plate into ENLETs. I can't tell each button is different across the country, but it's similar to when you're entering a registration number, the screen comes up. Here you can do that for railroad USDOT numbers. When you ask the USDOT number, you can enter it into ENLETs within whatever the speed that ENLETs current returns that your driver inquiries will be the same speed that will return your USDOT number information. The key things that will be returned to you is the name of the railroad, the 1-800 or the emergency number, the location of that particular crossing, and some other important information such as number of trains, passenger trains. But I just would like to highlight, using the USDOT number creates for less questions on your end and a quicker response to notifying the proper railroad. Next. As I mentioned earlier, using ENLETs is going to be the quickest way to get the location of the grade crossing along with the name of the railroad. Next. The Federal Railroad Administration has also created a rail grade crossing locator app. This app works on most phones, Android and Apple products. This can be placed on your police officers or field folks' vehicles or on their iPhones or Android phones, that when they're out in the public, they have this phone on, and if they're standing near a grade crossing, the locator app will populate the information of that grade crossing. It ties right into the Federal Railroad Administration's database, so it will have the most up-to-date information. As you folks know, information changes. We, the FRA, make updates as we receive them. We make these updates to ENLETs and to our locator app. Both these types of applications are designed to help you folks, the emergency personnel, the 911 centers, better access to our information, better access to determine what railroad to call, the correct phone number to call, and more importantly, for us, it does provide the GIS information in there, the longitude and latitude, so the location will be able to be determined rather quickly. Next. We've also created at the Federal Railroad Administration informational videos. These videos are posted on FRA's homepage, fra.dot.gov. These informational videos are directed specifically for the 911 dispatcher. There's another video for law enforcement, and there'll be shortly another video for fire. Your video will highlight this ENS sign, the ENLETs project, in addition to some of the other folks we've partnered with, such as the National Emergency Number Association, where we have developed an operational document that will assist you folks in setting up guidelines at your 911 centers on how to follow these procedures that I mentioned. These informational videos are free of charge. You can watch them. You cannot download them at this time. We will be making that available soon. However, I would strongly encourage you folks to visit our website for these videos. These videos were produced by other 911 dispatchers. Other 911 dispatchers out there told us what they needed in a video. It's approximately 20 minutes long, and it can be viewed 24 hours of the day, 7 days of the week. Next. And that is my contact information. Please feel free to contact me if you need any additional assistance in this area. At this time, I'd like to turn it back over to you, Sherry.
Thank you, Mike. We'll start the Q&A portion of our session. As a reminder, to ask a question, please use the WebEx chat feature located on the right-hand side of your screen, or press the raised hand button so we can unmute your phone line. The first question that I have is, Is there a rule of thumb for the amount of time to wait before going on the tracks to respond to an incident after you have called to report the incident?
This is a very good question. Do not enter the railroad's tracks unless the railroad dispatcher has advised you that all trains in the area are stopped or there are no trains in the area. We strongly recommend that when you notify a railroad of a situation that you stay on the phone with that railroad and you verify through the railroad dispatcher that all train traffic is stopped and it is safe to enter the railroad tracks.
Okay. Another question I have is, how should PSAPs handle incidents or calls at non-grade crossings?
Following the same procedure, notifying the railroad first. However, the location may be difficult. The railroads have what we call milepost or timetables that identify locations along the railroad right away. I would strongly encourage you to work with your railroads to obtain the track charts or mileposts in these areas. However, I use a word of caution here. The railroads, due to an incident that happened almost 20 years ago, the railroad gave out a mile or a track mile locator, and unfortunately, the dispatch system thought it was a highway mile marker and dispatched first responders to a highway mile marker. The railroads use a similar system as the highways do to identify rights-of-way, identify areas along their rights-of-way. We just urge caution here to ensure that when you are communicating with the railroad to find an incident that is on not at a grade crossing, that you ask the railroad what is the closest grade crossing to the situation and whether it's north, south, east, or west from that location. Thank you.
Okay. Next question is, can you please tell us what a non-grade crossing is?
A grade crossing is any intersection, whether at grade, below grade, or above grade, where a roadway or a pedestrian path or a farm crossing crosses the railroad tracks. A non-grade crossing would be an area along the right-of-way, walking down the tracks. Anything outside of the roadway or underpass or overpass.
Okay. The next question I have is, can you watch the videos that you mentioned from the website?
Yes, you can. The videos are meant to be played from our website. Within coming months, we will produce CDs or DVDs that I will be able to send out to folks.
Okay. Next question. When running the DOT number in NLETS, which type code is used to run it, and is it the same as running a U.S. government plate?
That would be a question for your NLETS help center. For our instructions we have is you'll enter the U.S. DOT number. I cannot answer the specifics about that question.
Okay. Thank you. The next question is, how do we obtain the GIS data files for our GIS mapping system that the 911 dispatchers use?
My counterpart, Raquel Hunt, will be speaking shortly, and she can address that.
Okay. Thank you. I don't see any other questions at this time. So, Raquel, would you like to begin?
Sure. Can we get my first slide? Hi, my name is Raquel Hunt. I'm with the Federal Railroad Administration. I actually work in the Office of Policy and Planning. The GIS is, we support everyone within FRA, but what I really want to hit on today is just a very high level of two aspects, our data and the network, and some of the applications that are available to the public. I think Michael and I could probably do a workshop of maybe 6 to 8 hours on our data and how to use it, but today I'm just going to highlight kind of two things, the data and some of our application. So next slide. So this is just a graphical, just a map of the FRA network. This is an older version of the network. I'm going to talk about some of the enhancements we've been doing in the last year, and that will be available at the end of this month. But you can see that the rail network is pretty extensive, not just in the U.S., but in all of North America. Next slide. Within the actual database, there's a lot of attributes that go underneath it. This is just an example of where our Amtrak lines are, but we can pull anything from the ownership or where trackage rights that companies have, commuter lines, Amtrak lines. There's a lot of underlying data and attributes that you can pull out of the GIS. Next slide. Just some background, which I think is pretty important to understand the rail industry and definitely with GIS. The railroads are kind of broken up into 3 classes, and it's usually based on how many employees and how much revenue they have per year. There's 7 Class 1s, about 10 Class 2s, and there's over 500 Class 3s. These Class 3s are going to be your last couple of miles. Very small shops, and a lot of them don't even know what GIS is. These are just straight line to get into a more of a bigger player like a Class 1. The Class 1s do make up about 70% of the freight and rail lines, but that other 30% is still very important. And another thing to understand is the Class 3s, their ownership can change annually. Might go out of business and another company starts them up. So keeping on top of who is owning these Class 3s within your jurisdiction is very, very important. I listed out the Class 1s here, but if you go to the next slide, I'll give you a visual of what they look like. So we have 2 big ones on the West Coast is BNSF and UP. It's in the top left corner and the bottom right corner. We have 2 large companies from Canada that have a good footprint within the U.S., Canadian National and Canadian Pacific. We have 2 major players on the East Coast, CSX and Norfolk Southern. And then we have one that works in our mid part of the U.S. and works mostly in Canada is KCS, or Kansas City Southern. Next slide. So just a kind of overview on the left-hand side is kind of like I would say our major GIS layers that are somewhat available. Not all of these are available to the public. And the right-hand side is just examples of other data that we create. Maybe we take data from safety and add it to the GIS. But a lot of the key things is the primary layers. The rail network, I think, is very important for PSAPs to understand where their footprint is, who's running within their jurisdiction. The milepost layer we don't give it to the public only because we can't control when mile markers have been updated. We have no regulation on collecting that data. Now, usually when a PSAP contacts me for the milepost layer, I just have them agree to a data disclaimer, meaning we can't control if this data is wrong or right, and contact your local railroad to validate this information. Freight stations are pretty important, but I don't know how important to a PSAPs, but they are copyrighted from Rail Inc., which is the technology arm of the Association of American Railroad. A key part I think very important is the highway grade crossings, and then the passenger stations. So the network and the grade crossings and the stations are available on the NTAD, the National Transportation Atlas database, and we also have web mapping service, which I'll kind of show in a later slide. Next slide. As I previously mentioned, the FRA network has come a long way. We've back in the 80s, it was 1 to 2 million, meaning like if it was 1 inch, it was equal to 2 million inches in real life. So the spatial accuracy is not that great. Then we've got a little bit higher quality, 1 to 100K, but I think about 15 years ago, that was really good data, but these days I would consider that spatial accuracy to be obsolete. And so what we really want to do is have a better network that actually shows better spatial representation of the rail line. So what we've done is use some of our internal data and some of the data that was done through Homeland Security. Next slide. We have several cars in our safety program called our Automated Track Inspection Program data. And basically, these cars take a reading every foot to try to determine if there's a potential defect or what we call an exception. So when I was talking with Office of Safety, I said, well, what do you guys do with the foot-by-foot data? They said nothing, and it was just raw data to them. So, of course, from a GIS perspective, this is a huge data find. So we took 5 years' worth of data to use it as a source to spatially enhance the FRA network. Next slide. Now, the ATIP doesn't traverse every single track. It really looks at the hazmat tracks, passengers, so they might traverse the same track over the course of a year, but you're definitely going to get a good footprint of the main corridors. And like I said, we use 5 years worth of data. So this is just an example of 1 year's data. Next slide. Now in the top corner, you see where the foot-by-foot data is in relation to how the 1/100K was. And then the bottom slot or map shows kind of what we used in some of the data used from Homeland Security using imagery. So you can see spatially it's a lot better. The ATIP data is going to be right on that center line of that mainline track. Next slide. So this is an example of what we'll be releasing. You can see that we're going to have a lot more yard information, a lot more industrial track, the mainline track. And I kind of just used some examples of imagery and a street overlay to kind of show same area, what that data looks like. Next slide. It's just going to just show how you can see that this is the more zoomed in using imagery. The mainline track is in blue and the green track or non-main lines is in green. But you can start to see that the data is much more accurate and it's really going to show you where these tracks are actually at. And this is for all of North America. Now I'm going to just kind of transition to kind of our applications. So next slide. So in the course of, I don't know, since I've been here, 2006, we've had many web applications. And if you know technology evolves over time, and we always kind of have to be evolving with the technology. And so over the years, we kind of went from an ADF, an application development framework, to Silverlight viewers, and then, you know, when ESRI released their REST endpoints for web mapping services, that was a huge, I think, advancement in GIS to be able to share data very easily. And then, as Michael kind of mentioned, we had our locator app, and then just working on different workflows, and then we released our JavaScript API. So I'm going to kind of go through some of the applications that are currently available or how to get the data. Next slide. One reason why we moved to the JavaScript API is it's really going to be, it can work on any platform. It doesn't matter what type of device you are using. We wanted to have a standard interface, so it doesn't matter which web application you go to, all of the tools and the look and the feel are the same. So if you know one web application, then any other one you go to, you'll know exactly where the tools are. And so we did this in the last year and a half, converting everything to the JavaScript API. Next slide. So this is an example of what our main web page looks like. And I'll kind of just quickly go through. You have your navigational tools on the left. Up at the top, you can have just an about page and a help. The help will give you a PDF of how to use all the tools. And then in the top, you have your print ability, and you have your measure tool. The third one I think is key. That's going to be your map content. When you go in your map content, you can turn layers on and off. You can switch from imagery or street view. The next one, you can add data, and then you can also search for data. You can search for grade crossings or type of rail line or all of the data that's provided, and this is all being served through FRA's REST endpoint, our web mapping service. So we have web mapping services for all of our data. Next slide. So on the left-hand side, if you've ever gone to FRA's safety data page, on the crossing side, you can actually put in a grade crossing ID and say generate report. And what that does is generate the actual grade crossing inventory report that's provided by either the state DOT or by the railroad. You can also select generate map, and what that will do is pull that same look and feel of the map I previously showed you, but it will zoom you to that crossing and do a pop-up of that data. In that pop-up viewer, the data, you can scroll down and you can actually get the URLs to go back to the inventory record if needed. So if a grade crossing you put in there and it doesn't generate a map, it just goes to the national view, that means I've kicked that grade crossing location out. Some of our locations that are provided by the state or the railroad are not accurate. They're somewhere maybe in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. But we have been in a huge undertaking the last 6 to 7 months on cleaning up those grade crossings to use for mapping purposes. So eventually this won't be an issue. Next slide. As Michael said earlier, we have our trespassers. This is another map that we provide to the public where we get information of all the trespassers. This is probably, I think, in the last 5 years, but I get monthly updates. And what this does is just we basically highlight where there's been either an injury or fatality. And same look and feel, so once you come to this location, you can kind of see, know how to navigate through the map. Next slide. Michael kind of touched on this with the grade crossing locator. This is an example. Once you download it, you can put in a grade crossing ID or an address. It will show you all the at-grade grade crossings. You can also put on your GPS. It will show you your current location. If you go to the next slide. If you click on the grade crossing, it will give you a little pop-up of the ID and what street it's on. If you click that I, it will give you what the screen you see on the right-hand side, or it will give you all the information of the railroad. You can also have a hyperlink that will go into the inventory record from there. You can also query based on railroad code, so if it's BNSF or Norfolk Southern, what type of grade crossing, if it's a quiet zone, and you can have a buffer. So let's say you're in Chicago, Illinois, and you want all the grade crossings within 1 mile buffer. You can get that information that way as well. Next slide. So if you're familiar with web mapping services, this is what's currently available from FRA. You can bring in all the class 1s. Some of this is just information that we provide to different tools. We have the rail network, we have grade crossings, our FRA regions. So a lot of this data is the data that's going to feeding into these web viewers that we provide to the public. But like I said, if you actually need the data in just the shape file, you can get it from another agency within DOT, the Bureau of Transportation Statistics. We provide them updates annually. But the new rail network will be available within the next month, and we're going to give it to BTS to provide the availability for users to download the data. Next slide. Some of our stakeholders, especially for GIS, we have a wide variety of stakeholders from state DOTs to our federal partners. Michael mentioned before, NENA, other modes in the rail industry, academia. So these are, I'm probably missing many, and I'll probably hope that this organization will be on this list where we can coordinate and build partnerships. So just kind of overview of who our end users are. And I think that's just about it. I just kind of wanted to give an overview of some of the data that's available and some of the services and mapping applications that are available to the public. So last slide is my contact information. So if you have any follow-ups, please just let me know.
Thank you, Raquel. Now we'll start the Q&A portion for this session. As a reminder, to ask a question, please use the WebEx chat feature located on the right-hand side of your screen or press the raise hand button so we can unmute your phone line. The first question that I have is Illinois one of the 32 states that have state investigators? And actually, I believe that goes back to Mike.
Mm-hmm.
Did we lose Mike? Okay, we'll come back to that question. Another question that I have here is there training available for the use of the GIS web application?
Well, as I mentioned, there is the PDF that kind of walks you through the interface, what the tool does step by step, and how to use it. We don't have any tutorial per se, but the PDF I think would be very helpful. And of course, if anyone had any other questions, I would just basically do like a webinar and kind of walk it through with any end users that needed it.
Okay, thank you. Are there any additional questions? There we go. Yes, the PowerPoint will be available as well as the contact information and their websites within about a week on the National 911 website. Next question is, how do we get access to the applications?
They're currently available on the FRA website under Railroad Development. There's a GIS link that you can get to the main viewer. If you go to the safety data page, there's a link there. So there's several, or you could just Google FRA GIS web and probably take you straight to the main viewer as well.
Okay, thank you. Are there any additional questions? Going back to the earlier question that we had following Mike's presentation, how do we get the GIS data files for our GIS mapping system that the 911 dispatchers use?
So as I mentioned before, you can download all their data from the NTAD, or National Transportation Atlas database. BTS, another agency within DOT, was mandated back in the early to mid-90s to collect and distribute geospatial layers. So the data is available for download, but it's 2015. They usually don't release 2016 data until about June or July. But the web mapping service for the grade crossings is updated whenever there are updates to the safety page. I believe BTS's plan to create web feature service so you can download the data, and they're planning to have that data more dynamically updated than just doing it one time a year. So you can download the data just knowing that there's going to be a new update within the next couple months.
Thank you. Another question that I have is, do you have a website?
A website we have the map viewers. that are available to the public, but like a website about just the GIS program?
Yes.
No, we don't currently. I think that's a wonderful idea. It's something we probably need to do, but we don't have that available at this time.
Okay. Are there any PSAP representatives that would like to share any experiences or lessons learned on railroad incidents? You do have the capability of raising your hand. Okay. Are there any other questions? Thank you to both Michail and Raquel for being here with us. We appreciate it. Lori, do you have any closing remarks?
No, I'd also like to thank Raquel for their help. As Stephanie mentioned, we'll put contact information when we archive these webinars. But if people have any additional questions, just let us know. Whether you're interested in accessing their information or you have any questions in general, because they're right in the building, so we can follow up with any questions you might have. But thank you so much.
This concludes today's webinar. We appreciate everyone's participation. An archived version of today's webinar will be available on 911.gov shortly. The next seminar is scheduled for Tuesday, June 21st at noon Eastern, and we hope that you will be able to join us. Thank you and have a great day.